Oh, sure. Meanwhile, I need to dig my money back out of the trash. I literally was throwing money away during this presentation.
Welcome to Technical Difficulties. We've got Brandon with us today. We've got Vinny with us. We've got a special guest, and we're talking about our trip to CEDIA in Denver this last week. And we got a really fun debate at the end of the show. We're debating, should you go with DIY smart home or should you go with a professional install? It's going to be lots of fun. We're going to get into it right now. We got Brandon. Brandon, how you doing tonight?
I'm doing great.
And Vinny, always a pleasure to have you on the show.
Live from Seattle.
Some Seattle.
Traveling nomadic again.
That's what you do, man. That's what you
I'll
do.
Be back
Someday
next week, though. So,
all right.
It's the life of a candidate and politician on the road.
That's right. Vince is going to be one of our candidates in our smart home debate here at the end. And
I like to be called an evangelist. That's more of what I'm looking for. Yeah.
I like it.
Well, going against you is our special guest today, Chris Oram. Chris Oram's the name. Smart home is his game. He works for a professional installation company. We met him out in Las Vegas, and he's going to be representing pro installers in our debate. But he was at CEDIA. Chris, how you doing?
Hey, what's up, Pete? Thank you guys for having me on the show today. Really happy to be here. I am representing our team here of professional installers. I work for a custom integrator out here in Las Vegas, Eagle Century. They're most likely one of the biggest integrators around the world. In fact, if you've heard of something like the Savant control platform, we did the Vegas Modern 001 show home, which was put on by Savant. It's the most expensive house ever sold in Las Vegas at a whopping $25 million. It's an incredible masterpiece, an incredible Savant home, and it's truly a one-of-a-kind project.
Well,
There's
I'll take
so
two
many
of those.
cool tours about it online.
Incredible tours online.
Yeah, so Chris does have a YouTube channel. We'll link to that below in the comments, and you'll want to check that out. But yeah, so we were all at the CEDIA show. Chris, I'm just going to start with you because you are the professional installer. Could you tell people just a little bit what CEDIA, the show, is all about? Because it's more for professional installers, correct?
Yes. So it is focused on the custom integration market. So it's the Consumer Electronics Design and Installation Association. That is what CEDIA stands for.
He knows it. We've talked about this 3 times.
I never got it.
No, I have no idea. I already forgot. You already told me what it stands for. I've already forgotten yet again. But go on.
So CEDIA is basically the Disneyland of professional installers, right? They have the best audio, the best video. So for instance, to give you a perspective, I went to a $1.2 million in-house CEDIA demo, and this was on the CEDIA show floor, but it had the best projector money can buy, a Barco projector. It has the best projector screen that money can buy. It has 32 speakers, a Trinoff amplifier. It's just some really incredible stuff. So all of the biggest brands in custom integration were speaking there. Savant, Crestron, Control4, Snap. I mean, really, it's just the best talent people in the world when it comes to the manufacturer sides. And then the integrators all come to meet the manufacturers, and it's really a great time, and it's a geek's paradise. It's the geek's Disneyland is what I'll call it.
Yeah, indeed it is. So the three of us were there. I've been there a couple times, and like you said, it is designed for professional installers. They have massive booths, massive technology, but there's still some interesting things there for do-it-yourselfers as well. We toured
we just kind of snuck in the back door. It was fine.
Yeah, they didn't seem to care too much about us. No, it was fun. It was a very interesting to see how the other half lives, if you will, and some of those things trickled down into the DIY as well.
You mean 2%? Not half.
Probably less for the. How many people are installing $1 million theaters in their home? Probably less than.
It's a bigger market than you would think.
Yeah, and that's the truth, Brandon. I mean, it is a bigger market than you think. People often overlook how many people have home theaters in their home. And when you get to the multi-million-dollar homes, pretty much every multi-million-dollar home should or it does have a home theater, if not at least a control system.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'll believe it. I'm kind of on a watch list, I think. When I get into close to those neighborhoods, they just kind of shut the gates and...
You're not the VIP?
I'm not. I'm an LVP, least important person. Get him out of here. So you guys, what was your favorite thing that you saw here at the CEDIA show? What was most interesting to you guys?
So the demos are always really incredible. It's amazing when you can sit in those incredible theaters and you hear just the sound effects that really change how the experience is for the individual watching. So we demoed a little James Bond trailer, and there was a car crash scene. The cars hit from the right-hand side. You could really hear the audio coming right at you. And then there was a fighting scene, a bullet scene, and it was like you were there in the moment. I mean, the demos, if you haven't been to one, they're incredible. It's incredible to see the people around there. But really, something that caught my attention was this AI proposal tool. So Portal.io has been making professional proposal software for people in the industry for quite some time now. But now they have implemented this AI feature where you can make a transcription, a voice recording, if you will, of a walkthrough of a home, letting them know, hey, on the great room on the far right wall, we want a 55-inch Samsung Frame TV. And using the power of AI, it can write up that proposal. And you might just be thinking, okay, that's just listening to an audio transcription. But no, there's more than that. So it can detect once we have a TV that you probably need a mount for that TV. And when you need a mount for that TV, you're probably hooking it up to some sources. So you're probably going to need at least some sources and some HDMI cable. And it really just thinks through the entire process, and it learns as you go. So the more that you use the proposal tool, the smarter that it gets and the more that it can really assist you in real time. And I think that's the future. And I think a lot of people on my team, our design and engineering team, they spend hours designing these solutions. They look at the blueprints, like it's truly a construction process. And I think AI is really going to change the way that we navigate these proposals. So it was incredible to see that from the company Portal.io.
Maybe you can charge less then.
No, we probably won't charge less, but
they got to pay it all to them. So
no, AI is there to upcharge more. Actually,
yes.
It's making recommendations of how you can spend money.
But saves
Brandon
them time,
thinks
saves them time on the design side, engineering side.
Exactly.
So I actually do feel that's kind of the way that the DIY market is eventually going to have to go too, with the ability to just walk into a room and be like, hey, I want these lights to turn on at a certain time, but not turn on when the cat's in the room or whatever. And you can just say it, and then it will figure out whatever that automation is. And if you don't have the right devices, it would say, hey, okay, we can do that, but you need to order this motion sensor. Would you like me to order that and send it to you? And be like, yeah, do that. And then it would happen and show up, and then it would figure out all the whatever the coding is you need to do. So I think what they're on
no
to is
industry is immune from AI. Like in real estate, it's just so prevalent as well. So it's interesting to see that. And along that same lines, I really enjoyed the demonstration from Josh. I've been using their micros around the house.
Josh,
I really want to
person?
get that new touch panel. I know they're shipping that soon. And then they had two remotes. So they had like their version of the Ava, which I thought was pretty slick, do IP control and basically an Android remote for your theater. But that way you could like use that instead of another system, which is a little bit more approachable. And then they've got their remote that they were teasing, where it's just like a touch button. So it would have like a button for the shades, one for TV, one for lights and stuff. And the idea being that like if someone came over to your house that wasn't familiar with the system, they could just pick that up and it'd be intuitive and they don't have to worry about a screen and stuff. So I thought that was pretty cool.
Yeah, it was impressive. And again, these companies put so much money into these booths. I mean, it's built out and very impressive, and their whole staffs are there and very enthusiastic. And they serve lots of free goodies to people if you wanted to get you to come and enjoy
my favorite thing was the free beer. No, I'm just kidding.
You're not kidding at all.
I swear I did not have a single beer while I was there. I did have like a vodka cranberry, but that was about it. But I would say this is my first year at CEDIA. So the coolest part for me was being able to go up to manufacturers and like just talk about their products with them, like the ones that I've used. I mean, even talk about some of them, like with some of the issues that I have with them, and like kind of talk through some of that stuff. I've even had like one vendor where like Brandon and Pete walk away because it was getting a little, a little intense. But like, just being able to talk with people and see where they're at and what's coming up. Especially we talked to Zooz and what they're coming out with new products. and giving some input to them too. That was awesome.
Yeah, it was great to see Zooz there. And again, Zooz is primarily a customer or a consumer product, but it looked like with the Z-Wave long range, they have some potential to expand into the installer market as well. So that'd be good for Zooz, and if it's good for them, then hopefully they innovate and bring it to the DIY space as well. So that was cool to see them as well.
Seeing the other integrators too was cool. Like Crestron had the whole line, and then to see like Sony's like super expensive screens and stuff and projectors, it's kind of neat. Like we've never seen a crazy $100,000 speaker. Like they have one.
Do you still have your VIP card from Sony? Your Sony VIP card?
Oh yeah, front of the line, baby. We're media. If you're media, you get front of the line passes to the Sony VIP experience.
I feel like they were giving them away to anybody that did the tour, but whatever.
Chris, did you get a VIP pass?
I did.
Dang it! I thought we were special.
I was media.
You were media. That's right.
I to the bar and see if I could get a free drink, and that didn't work. So
we didn't get a wristband though. I kept asking him, like, what do I need to do to get one of those wristbands?
You tried.
Like, sell $1 million in product.
Brandon might
be challenging.
Brandon is quite shameless in trying to get himself invited to parties. It was impressive work.
Invited to parties, and like, what can I test? Like, you got a widget, one of these? Like, I'll test it. Send it to me. You got a smart plug? I'll take it. Let's test it.
You got a $250,000 home theater system.
It's a little bit harder ask, but I still try. I still try.
Right, you're not afraid.
A Control 4 system, so there you go.
So, Pete, one of my favorite moments was outside at the Coastal Source outdoor booth. And it was really our talk with the guys over at Audio Advice, who have an incredible YouTube channel. And they really cover a lot of the custom integration industry, especially from the audio perspective. But I want to highlight a question that you had with Alex, the general manager over there. And you asked kind of, how do you tell the difference between, an average speaker and a really high-end one? And especially in the high-end one, there's 10 different types of really amazing speakers. So what was that conversation like, Pete?
So, yeah, it was interesting. My biggest question was like, okay, I can tell the difference between, a $50 speaker and a $500 speaker, right? And you can tell a difference between a $500 speaker and a $10,000 speaker, right? But the higher you go, like the less difference there is. You have to spend a lot more money to find a difference. And then my biggest question is like, when you get up into that $10,000 range, it's like, how can you tell a difference between any of them? Like, how do people choose? And yeah, it was just interesting. They just talked about the process that people go through, and it's like, they have all the stuff that they can listen to, and they interview them with the type of things that they're gonna do with the speakers, and then they play the different things. And he says he said when people go through the experience, it's easy for them to make a choice. It's not like they're like, they all sound the same, just pick one. They do generally gravitate towards one pretty naturally based on what their perceptions are. So
yeah, that's great. I thought it was really incredible. It's kind of what he compared to a supercar. I mean, they're all great. It's personal preference, which one fits you. So I thought that was a really great way of explaining that. And really shout out to the guys over at Audio Advice. Yeah,
so they've got a YouTube channel. We'll link to that down below if you want to check that out. So so it was fun. Again, there was parties at the end. Like you said, the Coastal Source had some free things, and then in the evenings they have different events the vendors throw on, and opportunity to just meet people. And like I met this Chris guy, and he's suddenly on our podcast for some reason. So it's great. works out. Yeah, and then you can all go crash in a hotel together and eat Cheetos, and life's good. So that was CEDIA, guys. Again, great for professional installers. Interesting for us, and we'll hopefully be heading to CES as well. So we'll be talking about that in a few months. The big commercial, whatever that is. I don't know what the name is. Consumer electronics something.
That was so easy to remember, Pete.
No, consumer electronics something. So, all right. So that's CEDIA. That's CES. But we want to. I don't care. I
just think it's funny that you picked something because it starts with an S.
Yes, I did. Consumer electronics something coming to Las Vegas near you. But we have a professional installer with us today. So we thought with the presidential debates just happening this week, we thought it'd be fun to do a little debate of our own. So for our debate, our voter is essentially a homeowner that wants to smarten up their home. They want to make a smart home, and they're trying to choose between DIY and getting it done professionally. Representing the DIY is Vince. He's representing the DIYer. And Chris, our installer, is representing the professional install. Let's go to the debate. And I'm going to do a little cut. Some sound or whatever. We'll make it fun and interesting. Welcome, everybody, to the 2024 Smart Home Debate. Now, we want to thank our viewers from our respective channels and viewers from around the world for this heavyweight matchup. Now, this brings us to our rules for tonight's debate. Candidates are going to have 2 minutes each to answer each question and 2 minutes for rebuttals. All right, that's a lie. I'm kidding. I'm not keeping track of any time, but just keep it short, keep it interesting, or I'll shut your mics off. All right, guys? Vince won the coin toss tonight, so he has elected to receive. Chris will be defending the south end zone. Welcome to both of you. We're looking forward to a very spirited and thoughtful debate. Thank you for joining us, candidates.
Thanks for having me.
All right.
We will be doing fact checking as we go. We've got Google on standby. I might even hit up ChatGPT. Who knows?
Absolutely. So with that, let's go to our very first question. American smart home device owners spend an average of $1,172 on their smart tech household electronics. So why do you think they should select you for their smart home? Each candidate...
We'll start with Vince.
Yes, Vince, we will start with you. Why should they choose you for their smart home?
You know, as a smart homer
and you being DIY
Midwest, with a middle class background, I feel like it's important that everybody has access to affordable smart home products. And so that means that in order to be able for everybody to have better quality of life, that means that you got to go with the DIY route, because normal people can't afford the professional route. And so this is the way that you got to go, DIY all the way.
All right, Chris, your response?
Yeah, so I mean, I agree with that completely. I don't think the $1,000 budget is enough to have a professional installer, but I also would like to state that I don't think $1,000 will even get you a DIY smart home. What I think $1,000
hot check. We got a fact check on that.
No.
Previous episode, we did budget smart homes for $1,000 or less. So there you go.
Hear me out. I think you can have smart home products, but do you have a smart home? I would argue that you don't. You can get a couple products. You can get a smart doorbell, smart thermostat, some smart lights, but that's going to be the extent of it. I don't think you can truly have an elaborate smart home with shades, control, anything like that. I think you're going to be minimizing the total experience that you have. And I think you can have added value with those smart home products, but to call it a complete smart home, I think might be pushing the line.
I think your response is make more money, basically. Got it.
I think the problem
Americans are just so poor right now. Right. Inflation. It's going to be very difficult for them, but
I think it's just the barrier of entry. This is the barrier of entry. You don't for a professional system, you need a large investment up front. Whereas even if you do a smart home or a DIY smart home, you can spend smaller amounts of money over a period of time. So you're just going to be able to, you may spend, we'll wait till that next episode comes out about our smart homes and how much we spent. But, you can spend $10,000, $15,000, $20,000 on a DIY smart home, but you can do it over a longer period of time. So.
Okay,
very good.
I think that's a more realistic budget as well. I mean, I definitely agree that going through the journey of the smart home, right? Everyone's smart home evolves over time. It does take time. What you start with on day one isn't going to be what you end up with in the present time. So I actually agree with that statement, and it is a journey.
Candidates, if you could kindly stick to the format. Also, you're not supposed to agree with each other. We're here for a debate.
Right. The other candidate's always wrong.
This one is for Chris. 60.4 million U.S. households actively used smart home devices last year, and this number continues to rise Do you think that more consumers are going to move towards professional systems or towards DIY products as things continue to improve?
I think that both markets are going to continue to grow. I think that the people who I think the people that want to have a smart thermostat probably don't want to learn how to do wires, mess with that. I think they just want someone to do it. They want to take advantage of the technology. They want to have the technology work for them. And I think if they have the money, they're not going to learn the skills to wire up their home. They're going to pay a professional installer. When it comes to installing a Philips Hue light bulb, it would be a no-brainer to do it yourself. But I think as more people have smart home devices in their home, I think that the professional installer market will continue to grow as well.
Okay. Thank you very much. Vinny, your response?
I think that with the improvements in the DIY market has substantially increased over the last even 10, 15 years. Accessibility, pricing, all have gotten much better, and I think will continue to get better. I think that, professional systems outside of, whole home audio or theater systems are just unnecessary, and for the most part, for most consumers, because you can do most of everything that in a professional system you can do at a DIY level and a DIY price without having to spend the money, with a few exceptions, like whole home audio and things like that. There are some systems that are DIY, but are obviously not that great. But
okay, thank you very much. Okay, this question now is for Vince, for our DIYer. So what are the benefits of a DIY smart home system, and what kind of cruel name would you give to someone who chooses to use an installer?
I would say that I would call you a poser. No, I'm just kidding. I think the biggest benefits of using a DIY home system over an integrated system is just going to be usability. We were at CEDIA and talking to somebody at the booth for Crestron, and so we were talking about automations or creating automations, and they're like, so I can do this as a consumer of owning Crestron? Oh, no, you have to have a professional do it. Well, that makes it really frustrating, because you might find automations that you want to do, but you can't have your system integrate those into your system. You need to call a professional to do those automations, even when they seem pretty rudimentary and elementary, like they're not super difficult automations. This time, this light comes on, or vice versa. So I think it's.
But Vince, that company also integrates with Home Assistant.
Which I'm not really sure what that means, but like you can put products that are in Home Assistant on a Crestron dashboard. I don't know how that works. Does it bastardize the professional system by doing that? I don't know.
I think it's just a way for them to bill more hours. It's a full custom code, and some guy gets to charge you for that.
Oh, all right.
Great moderating, Brandon. Chris, do you have a rebuttal?
Well, I mean, when you're doing a DIY smart home, it's always going to be simple. I don't think anything is really going to be super robust, super, amazing, that it's going to be an incredible site. I think that's what you get when you work with a professional installer, is that you can truly get a lot of wow factor. I think that you don't have to worry about all the nitty gritty. You just get the technology to work for you. And I think that in terms of what Vinny said, you can create scenes which have automations turned into it, and those can be user generated, both in something like a Crestron or a Savant. It's not going to be total control, but you do have access as the end consumer to create your own automations to a certain regard. It's not going to be anything like Home Assistant, but I think you have some of the limited capabilities within other control systems like HomeKit or Amazon Alexa.
I would also say that Chris hasn't been to my house then. He thinks it's not elaborate. No, I'm just kidding.
He's seen the tour.
Brandon, your question.
So, Chris, what are some of the benefits of working with a professional installer and having a full integrated system versus a DIY smart home?
That you have someone to call, that you have someone who has expertise in the area, that you have a phone number that you can call if something's not working, and you have a person that knows what to do and how to get it working again. I think a lot of times in the DIY space, you're troubleshooting yourself, you're turning to forums, you're turning to content creators. And I think a lot of that can be very frustrating for the end consumer. I couldn't imagine being an 80-year-old woman and trying to troubleshoot my Ring doorbell. I think that's really, really where the professional installers come in, because these are the pros. These are the people that do it for a living, and they can really get you suited up right without you having to do all this research and time consumption that can be a lot of wasted time. And I think it can be incredibly frustrating.
Vince,
what
your response?
say you to that, Vince?
I mean, it depends on the issue, and I guess it depends on the level of acumen for the person that has it. I feel like in the smart home world, like on a DIY side, you're probably right, and depending on how much smart home someone has. But if you're talking about someone like as a almost a hobbyist or like a DIYer like myself, like it's kind of part of the whole game with like automating, troubleshooting, those types of things. Like especially if you're someone that uses Home Assistant over like maybe the more common or regular systems like the Echoes or HomeKit or Google. So I don't disagree that it's nice to have someone to call. I guess it just depends on what the issue is going to be, you know.
Okay, thank you very much.
Maybe not at $200 an hour or something like that, but.
All right, so we all know that smart homes can take, if you're a DIYer, it can take a lot of time to set up. If you're hiring a professional, it can be very expensive. No matter what system you have, things are going to go wrong. There's going to be problems. Does a DIY system or a professionally installed system more likely to lead to a divorce?
I would say it definitely a professional system. If I'm spending $75,000, $100,000 on a professional system, my wife's divorcing me right away. If I wasn't already divorced.
Well, your new girlfriend's leaving you, okay?
Yeah.
Okay.
She knew that I spent that much money. Hell yeah.
All right, Chris.
I mean, the answer is obvious to me. The DIY is definitely going to lead in divorce. I mean, we look at people like Paul Hibbert, and he makes a joke out of upsetting your wife. Like, that is common in the DIY space. I think that DIY has much more potential for things to go wrong. You're not working with unified brands, which the Matter smart home standard is trying to solve, but it hasn't solved it yet. So I can only imagine the amount of frustration when your wife turns off a light switch and now the lights don't work. Like, what could be more annoying than that? So definitely DIY, and I think the viewers around the world can agree with that statement.
Quick fire questions for you boys. Wireless or wired? Pete.
Me?
Yeah.
Hey.
I'm spicing it up. You got to answer.
I'm not.
It's quick fire questions. I'm throwing it at everybody.
Wired. What? What's
Okay.
happening?
Wired. No brainer.
Restaurant or Control 4?
I don't even know what those are.
Crestron.
Okay.
Restaurant.
Vince, projector or TV?
Projector.
LED wall.
Pro.
Ooh.
Now, for my real question. Chris, if you were elected come November, what voice assistant would you use? The people need to know. Who's your VP?
So definitely Josh AI. I mean, they are an incredible leader in the AI voice technology. It's without a doubt Josh.ai.
And Vince?
Oh, I'm totally picking Amazon Alexa. She's my babe.
She's your ride or die?
Yep.
Go ahead.
Does matter?
Yes.
No,
Why?
it's trash. Right now, it's just the new Zigbee, whatever. Same protocol, same Wi-Fi protocol. I don't think it's going to go anywhere.
It's a work in progress. It's a once in a lifetime thing for all the big companies to work together. I mean, you could imagine how difficult that process is, but really to have them even come together, I think was a big step in the right direction.
I mean, communism in theory is a good practice too, but it doesn't really work in real life.
Touche, my friend. Touche.
How is it working right now? I hear that they have a concept of a plan for Matter, but like, how is Matter working today? Matter has been out there. It's in the wild. Like, what can Matter do for us right now?
Well, I like to hear our friend Shane talk about it, if that counts.
Chris, this is obviously for you as an integrator. What is the most important first step to take when starting a smart home?
I got a great answer, and it's your network. Without a reliable and robust network, the entire smart home won't work as it is intended. If we have cameras constantly falling offline, TVs falling offline, remotes not picking up the right wireless access point, I mean, it's the start of a disaster. So if without a reliable enterprise grade network, I mean, the smart home will not be successful.
Okay, Vince?
I don't disagree with that, unfortunately, because I don't really like Chris that much. But, you know, even in a DIY market, like having a Wi-Fi network, whether if you can't run wired, doing like a wireless mesh network to be able to host the number of devices that you need is going to be the most important thing. You know, a lot of people, when they first start with a smart home, they have their ISP provider gives them a wireless router and a modem all in one, and it just can't handle it, you know? And so that's the first thing you need to invest. Otherwise, you just think the smart home thing is just garbage because you can't get the results that you're looking for. So absolutely.
Very frustrating indeed.
Indeed. What can homeowners do using smart home technology to prevent their pets from being eaten?
You know, I know this is a real world issue in Springfield, Illinois. And so I think, you know, you got to make sure that you have, I have used like a halo collar on my dogs using security cameras. They're all DIY through Ring. And I also have some Real Link as well. But, you know, it's a real issue. You know, people need to be really careful about their dogs being outside.
And being eaten. Okay.
And being eaten.
Chris, do you have a rebuttal?
I mean, get a motion sensor, get some cameras, get an Apple AirTag, and that's your best option. But you really got to watch out for those people eating pets around the world.
That's crazy.
It's out of control, clearly. Thank you.
It's a real issue. Chris, this question is for you. We may be receiving $25,000 as first-time home buyers now. This money that just comes from out of nowhere. How could we best deploy that $25,000 for our smart home?
Man, $25,000 would be a great budget, really, to get you a smart home. With $25,000, you're going to have an incredible experience. So I think I'll divide it into 5 different sections. So let's put $5,000 towards the network. We want to have an enterprise grade network, a strong router, a strong switch, and let's say 6 access points around the home.
6? This is a first-time home buyer. We're gonna have. That's not that big of a house.
Oh, well. I mean, I don't know about your first home, but okay.
Continue.
Shots fired. Shots fired.
Okay, so let's networks out of the way. Let's get a nice media room going on. So we're gonna have probably a 98-inch TV. I don't know what you want. Let's have a $5,000 for whole house audio distribution. We can use something like a Sonos amp, use some nice Origin acoustic speakers. Okay, so that's 3 out of the 5 categories. Let's put $5,000 towards surveillance. We want to make sure that all areas of the home are covered. And then I work at a company who we install alarms, and I definitely see the benefit of having an alarm and a robust alarm solution. We want to have our house and our valuables secured. So let's put the last $5,000 towards your alarm.
Excellent. I like this a lot. Vince, how many Yarbos are you purchasing with the $25,000? And what are you going to do with any remaining money, if there is any?
I think I'm just going to stick with the one that I already bought, but I'm going to take the rest of that money and buy a swim spa. So
okay.
But honestly, I'm with Chris on what his layout. You can do quite a bit with $25,000, even from a DIY standpoint. You know, you can even throw in some motorized shade blinds for that pricing. You know, smart appliances, TVs. You know, everything across the board. Bidet toilets, which you know I'm a strong and firm proponent of those.
Very firm. And
but not too firm. If something goes wrong in your system smart home, and I'm going to ask both of you, Chris and Vince, who gets yelled at and how long does it take to get fixed? Chris, you can go first.
Okay, so regardless of what's wrong, it's always the integrator's fault, right? Let's say your Sony television isn't turning on, right? Clearly, that was the integrator's fault. They designed it that way. They told it not to turn on. You're going to come out and fix this. It's never worked. I'm not paying for it. I mean, that is just kind of what people is the go-to lines. And we have a joke in the industry. It's always the integrator's fault. How long is it going to take to get fixed? Well, I mean, it depends on the day and time. If it's Friday at 10 p.m., not a great situation to be in. But, if it's first thing in the morning, we might be able to get it fixed that day.
Okay. Vince, same question to you. In your system, how long is it? Who gets yelled at, and how long does it take to get fixed?
Well, usually it's me getting yelled at. But usually it takes, I can do it right on the spot. Depends on the issue, but I can usually fix something in 10, 15 minutes. If it's more of a bigger issue with like a networking problem or something like that, sometimes they take a little longer to get to. But honestly, it's nice to be able to do that stuff on your own. Even if you wanted to, if you're an integrated phone, you can't troubleshoot it. You can't do anything with it. You're locked out.
So what can professionals do that a DIYer can't do, or they might struggle with in regards to a smart home?
I think the biggest example that we can talk about is the availability of products. So the custom integration industry is set up where the manufacturers work directly with the dealers. These are the installation companies, and then the dealers install for the end consumer. So our favorite, projector screens could either come from Stewart Film Screen or Screen Innovations. And both of these companies do not sell directly to consumers. You have to work with a professional installer. And really in every category, lights, shades, audio, video, a lot of these categories are only available to the dealers. So the end consumer has to work with the dealer. And really that's the way it's set up, because we want these products to be installed successfully. We don't want the average person off the street trying to hang a 135-inch projector screen, because it's not going to go well. So they've realized that, and they choose to use that strategy. And I think that strategy is overall successful for the manufacturer, the integrator, and the end consumer.
Collusion.
Okay, Vince, your response.
I would say, from a DIY standpoint, that what we're able to do better is just that we're able to install things quicker, easier, faster. We're also able to troubleshoot quicker, easier, faster. We're able to do all of our own automations, and you're able to build a smart home. Like, you don't have to put a $25,000 investment down right away. You're able to go ahead and spend a couple $1,000s at a time, or $1,000 or less, and just build out as you go. And then, so it's not a huge investment right on the front end. So that's what makes DIY systems so much more accessible, but it makes them better.
All right. Well, I feel like the citizens are a little bit undecided, so we have just a couple more questions for you guys. First, Vince, what are some things that DIY systems do better than an integrated system? Oh,
they're hands down going to be easier to manage on individual devices on your own. Like, just the autonomy to, your body, your choice to do what you want and when you want to do it, versus having to rely on other people and having them make decisions for you.
Chris, why is the state better at making decisions for the homeowner, and why should they use a professional integrator instead?
Because we know the right questions to ask. I think when the average person is hanging a television, all they're considering is, what size TV am I hanging? But they haven't thought about what type of mount they want. Do they want a fixed mount? Do they want an articulating mount? Do they want the best of the best? Are you going to be hanging this on drywall? Are you going to be hanging this on tile? You really just have to consider these things. And I think it comes through experience that we understand how to properly build out the smart home. We know how to properly design the smart home, and we know how to properly engineer the smart home. So it's working with the professionals, with the experience, with the track record, who knows the best practices of the industry.
Audience, you've heard it straight from Chris's mouth. He's calling you stupid. So that's good.
Inexperienced. They are inexperienced, and I think in any category of life, you want to work with people who are experienced at their craft. You don't want your doctor being a first-time doctor. You don't want him being a first-time surgeon. You want the experienced one that's done 1,000 surgeries. And I think that really just applies to every industry.
Yeah, but you don't need your doctor pulling a splinter from your finger, though, either. So,
correct. There's different cases, but when we're talking about our home, the time where we spend our most private place, the time where we want to be with our family and our loved ones, I think it's important to make the investment in good quality products that are installed by high quality technicians.
Okay. All right. Thank you very much. I have one more question here for you guys. So as you know, one of the benefits of having a great smart home is to be able to show off to your friends and family. So tell me, I'm going to ask you each this one. Why is your system the most impressive system when showing off to your friends and or family? Vince, go first.
Well, I mean, like if you come to my house, I have this giant LED wall that's all DIY, no professional solution, using WLED controller and set it up on my own. It's 25 feet long. I think I have, I don't know how many LEDs are in there. I think it's 100 meters of LED strips in it. And that's something I did on my own by myself. And so I think when people come over to your house, they want to see what you've done or what you accomplish. I think it's nice to be able to point to things that you've already or that you've done yourself versus other people coming in.
All right, Chris, why is your house the best, your system the best system when showing off to friends and family? Why are they going to be most impressed with your system?
Because it's seamless and elegant. Everything's in one application. You don't have to have people download all these applications. You don't even have to have them download a single application. In most events, you can have them use the touch panel on the wall or the remote control. And I think that's really what sells a fully integrated system.
Okay, Vince, I have a question first for you, and then we'll go to Chris. Vince, why is someone a complete moron for using a professional installer for their smart home?
I mean, you want to spend a Corvette amount of money on a DIY or a professional smart home system, or you want to do it yourself and buy a Corvette? I think I'd buy a Corvette.
Okay, Chris, why is someone a complete moron for trying to do a smart home by themselves?
Because you're a professional by trade, and then you're trying to learn a new skill set that isn't up your alley. So, let's say you're a lawyer doctor. Why would you be trying to learn how to use power tools and learn how to wire things and troubleshoot networking? Because that's not your bread and butter. When we talk about economics and the theory, and that this might be a little high level for everybody, but you should focus on the one thing that you do well. You shouldn't be trying to scatter your resources across different areas. You should focus on that one thing you do well, make your money, make your high hourly wage, and then pay someone, the professionals who are the best at their craft, to work on your home for you. You wouldn't try and learn carpentry if you've never used power tools before. If you have a career by trade and then you go into something completely out of your realm, it's not going to be the best use of your time.
Okay, Chris, I do have a follow-up question for that. What am I good at, and how can I make more money?
Pete, you're good at a lot of things. You're good at this show. You're good at making content. You're good at the smart home. If you are a DIYer and you're a hobbyist and you are passionate about it and you want to do this, it's great. But for a lot of people, that's not the case. And a lot of people find even the DIY smart home frustrating. So whether or not you hire a custom integrator professional or you hire a handyman to help you out, I think in a lot of cases, hiring professionals is the way to go.
Vince, the American people say that using a professional installer is like taking your money and throwing it away. How much would have your smart home cost if you had to hire a professional to do it? And how much did you save?
Oh man, probably like 150,000. So save like $125,000.
That's insane. Chris, how can you justify charging $100,000 for your services? Are you just printing money and driving around in Maseratis, Ferraris, and live in a mansion? How do you justify your fees?
I mean, you justify it because that's the cost of doing business. Not only do you have to pay for a technician's time, you need to pay for the business infrastructure, the time to get there, the gas, the business vehicles. I mean, it's not an exorbitant amount of money when you really take a step back. And I think a lot of people, especially, you guys are a great example. I don't think you take into consideration everything behind the hourly rate, because it's not just, oh, this guy came out and now I have to pay all this money. It's this guy is training, this guy is meeting about my project. Like, there's people behind the scenes that make the projects go successfully. And I think a lot of times people don't necessarily think about that when they look at that that dollar per hour figure.
Vince, you just said you saved over $100,000 by installing your smart home by yourself. How much time would you say you invested to do that by yourself?
Ooh, he's not using Home Assistant though, so. Oh wait, you are now. Ooh,
I am using Home Assistant, but I don't have a ton of stuff on there. I would say it's probably on average, let's just say like 2 hours a week, maybe. I mean, that's probably even on the high end.
Value your time. Your time is worth money. You are spending way too much time on your smart home.
And I enjoy doing it. I enjoy spending time doing smart home stuff. I enjoy tinkering. I enjoy coming up with creative automations that I can show off to people when they come to my house. I enjoy using automations to create routines for my kids, so that I don't have to do things myself. I would say, there's a lot of time spent into it, but I still get stuff back.
Fair enough. All right, audience. Are you a hobbyist, or are you going to go with the pro baller setup and impress everyone? We need to know in the comments.
Okay, you're a professional installer. You charge a lot of money, like you said. So when you go into a home, before you start installing, do you go in there with a plan, concepts of a plan, or do you just wing it?
Never just wing it. That would be unprofessional installer. So yeah, we'll go on a complimentary job walk. We'll take photos. We'll make notes. If we can get access to the blueprints, we'll usually go through that. But there's always a plan. We think about all of the considerations, like I mentioned, like, is there going to be an outlet at this height? Are we going to have a back box behind the television? I mean, there's all these things you have to think about. And when you go in without a plan, you're going to get the results of going in without a plan. So when you work with professional installers, that's not the case. That's another reason why you shouldn't do things yourself, because you're not thinking about these things and you're going to have a less superior product overall, and it's going to be frustrating. So don't do it. I'm telling you now.
Okay. How about you, Vince? You winging it? Plan? Concepts of a plan?
I think you don't have to have a professional system to come up with a plan for your DIY like home. I sat down and I went through and I put what I wanted in each room and how I started in each room, and then bought products for it and integrated it based on what I wanted to do and what I wanted to accomplish. You don't have to be like a pro to know like what types of automations you want to have. Like YouTube is full of like channels that have automation ideas, and so you can create all these things on your own. Like, I don't necessarily feel like, I mean, you're planning, you're not necessarily winging it. Some products you may want, you're just like, hey, I want to try this out, and you're going to wing it and install it. And if it doesn't work, it's not the end of the world. Like, you're not spending $1,000 on this one item. It doesn't work. You don't like it. You can get rid of it. It's $20. Like,
all right. Well, thank you, Chris. Thank you, Vince, for our spirited debate here. I think our viewers have a tough choice here to make, whether they want to do a DIY install or if they want to hire a professional. I'm going to give you each a minute or two as a closing statement to convince the viewers that you are the right choice. So Vince, what's your closing statement?
All I got to say is, you're able with the DIY smart home, you're able to take your time, buy the products that you want, have a fun time integrating them with different automations, creating different ideas, to be able to kind of get the smart home you want without having to rely on somebody else. And then also at a reasonable price, and building it over time. Like, I think it just comes down to some basic economics. You also have, as smart home industry continues to get bigger and bigger and products get better and more reliable, you don't run into the problems that you had with a DIY system even 5-6 years ago. Much more reliable, much better integration between different brands. And so I think maybe even 5-10 years ago when professional systems were the only thing around, you're able to get a professional grade smart home in a lot of aspects by just doing it yourself, doing DIY and saving yourself some money so you can buy that swim spa.
And Yarbos.
and so many Yarbos. Okay. Thank you, Vince. Chris, your final word.
I mean, everyone's heard this statement before, but you get what you pay for. And I think in this case, that's absolutely correct. You can have a DIY smart home. You're going to get some value out of that. It can work. You might have some time and frustrations involved with it. But if you want the best smart home that you can possibly have, it's a no-brainer to choose a professional installer.
Okay, thank you very much. Thank you, both of you. Again, great debate here, guys. Let us know in the comments who you think won the debate. Is it DIY? Is it professional install? Share it with friends. Chris, thank you so much for joining us here as a guest today.
Pete,
thanks,
thank
Chris.
you. But one thing, I think we might have a biased audience. What's the name of your channel, Pete?
It's the professional install. Yeah, DIY smart home. Yeah, yes, it's totally a biased. So just think, if you can win over the totally biased audience, I mean, what a job you have done. So Vince, you better not have blown this for the DIYers. Okay, that's all I'm saying.
Notoriously cheap asses, though.
Yes,
so. That might
absolutely.
be tough.
Yeah. Again,
you guys
sweating.
did a great job tonight. I tried to get under your skin a little bit, but you handled it like true professionals, unlike two people who shall not be named. But great job. And, each of these opinions don't necessarily reflect our own. We're just kind of trying to have fun tonight. I think there's a good solution for the right household, and it certainly depends on your budget and as well as, what's normal for the area. And like Chris said, out in his area where they're doing these multi-million-dollar homes, like if I walked into a multi-million-dollar home and I didn't see some sort of control system or lighting and shades, I would be like, what the hell is going on here? And on the other end of the spectrum, if I saw that in a $200,000 starter home, I'd be like, well, okay, you're spending money and you're never going to get a return. So there is that.
Thank you again, everybody, for watching. Check out Chris's channel. Again, link down below. Give us a like and a shout out and all that stuff. We'll be back next time with our how much we spend on our homes.
Our homes.
Talking about our homes. So thanks for joining us, and we will see y'all next time.